Something I wish I would have known before I started photography. Well, not necessarily before I started, but something I wish I would have known is that you don't have to have the most expensive glass. You don't have to have a glass that shoots down or that can stop down to 1.4 or 1.2. Now, it's nice to have, and there's a place for it. But when you're starting out, do you necessarily need a lens that can go down to 1.2? I would really suggest or bet that you really don't have to have that piece of glass. Again, nice to have it. Quick interruption. If you're liking this video so far, how about liking and subscribing to help me grow this channel? I appreciate it. Now back to this video, okay? Let's go. Matter of fact, I have a 1.8 85mm that I really like, and I have a wish list of several other 1.4 lenses by Sony. Do I have to get it now, or do I need that now to produce the work that I need it to produce? Not necessarily. Stay with me now, okay? For me and a lot of other people, a 1.4 lens would be great to have. You can shoot, say for instance, a concert, which is low lighting or funny lighting situations where you can drop your aperture down and you can raise your shutter up high enough that you can freeze the action where the person that's on stage isn't so blurry. But where it becomes a problem at is that if you think you're going to use that same lens at a wedding where you have people staggered, well, now you run into another issue. Okay, so it's Lededrick, the editor now, okay? I'm interrupting this video because I noticed it seemed like I actually misspoke. I'm not talking about the lens itself. The lens is a highly capable lens. It's just the setting of dropping your aperture down to 1.8, 1.4, or 1.2. Having a wide open aperture, you're not going to get multiple people in focus. You're only going to get one person, and that's going to be only partial of their face, not their whole face. So when I mention in this particular video the lens, I'm talking about the lens setting at that aperture, at its widest aperture. Again, that's 1.8, 1.4, 1.2. All right, let's get back to this video. You have people that's in different planes, and your 1.4 lens is really going to focus on one person. Everybody else is going to be out of focus. So what do? You're going to have to add light. You're going to have to add some type of flash to it, or some type of constant light on top of your camera. And then you're going to have to raise your aperture up from 1.4 to maybe 3.2 or even 4.0. Now you're no longer allowing a lot of light into your lens from that situation or from that setting. So now that you have that, you have to rely on the flash. It doesn't even have to be a wedding. It can be, say, a girls' night out. Now you have these ladies that you're taking pictures of, and they are staggered. So what are you gonna do? 1.4? Not hardly. You're gonna have to get some type of flash, strobe, constant lighting, something. You have to put them in a place where their face are illuminated nicely, and regardless of what's going on in the background, if it's, you know, the city lights, you have the exposure open longer or whatever the case may be. You can only have it open up so long because the people are going to be blurry because, you know, they move. They're going to shift their bodies. As opposed to having just a fast piece of glass, which I'm not even talking about the quality of the glass being better than, you know, the quality of glass that has a higher aperture. Let me explain that part. When I say a higher aperture, I mean a 1.4 lens that dropped down to 1.4, 1.2, f1.8, or even f2.8. Okay, let's just keep it to that particular range, or let's even bring in f4. Okay, let's bring in the f4. So now that piece of glass that you're thinking, I'm gonna get this f1.2 and my pictures are just gonna come out fantastic, well, you're missing something. Remember, photography is really just the capturing of light. Now with the capturing of light, that means you have to have so much of light to be able to tell what the picture is. Now in addition to the light, let's think about composition. I like Sony cameras, okay? I don't think by now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you probably, you know, somewhat aware of that. Okay, so the Sony R5, the Sony A7 R5 which is a high resolution camera. It goes up to, if I recall correctly, 51,000 ISO. Well, the Sony A7 or A7 IV can go up to, I think, 102,000 ISO. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to shoot in every situation at that ISO and get, great images, but what I am saying is that with the Sony A7 IV, you have better low light capabilities in that particular camera than you do the Sony A7R5. So if you're going to be shooting in low light situations, that camera may be better than the higher resolution camera. Consider this: get the best camera that you can get within your budget. Do your research. Consider what type of photography you think you may like, because it may change. And if it changes, that's all right. The sooner you find out what it is that you like, the sooner it is that you can get the proper equipment that's going to help improve your photography. Now, it's not just throwing money that's going to improve it. It's going to be practicing, it's going to be working on composition, it's going to be learning your camera. Despite what I may say is the best camera, what's the best camera? It's going to be what's the best camera for me in my shooting situations. What's the best camera for you? It's going to be the same for you. But do you have to have the best of the best of the best with honors? No. The best is going to really come out if you learn how to use your equipment to the best of its ability. Because $1 million camera with a novice or somebody that don't know what to do with the camera, it's just a heavy paperweight. But that entry-level camera, that APS-C camera that's not full frame, in the hands of someone that has been taking pictures for a while, can produce a whole lot better images than that other person that just threw money out there to get this camera that everybody's raving about. Well, like I said, I wish I would have clearly understood that. Now, when I first started, no, people weren't saying, hey, you gotta have this or you gotta have that. It was me looking online thinking, hey, I want that. But don't let your desire to want that stop you from practicing and getting better. Hey, grab your camera and go create. You got this.